hop over. So essentially skip the line, cross the line.
I think the NHL would be crossing a line there if they did that. Never like I'm not talking about bringing replacement players in, because that's a total like. Would it get lots of attention? Of course it would, because it's NHL hockey. But is it NHL hockey really?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's AHL hockey, glorified AHL hockey.
But could that be a way to break the union somewhat? You know, say, I don't know.
I don't think it would work.
Say Phil Kessel and
no,
you get some big names.
No,
Kessel, Camilleri, Iginla crossover.
No, they trust me. You'd get players more like
the third, fourth liners.
Exactly. You know, like Steve Ott.
Manny Malhotra.
Steve Ott's going to go in there. Manny Malhotra. These guys are not playing first line minutes because they're not as good as the first lines out there on these teams. So are they going to cross? Of course they'll cross, because they want to play, and they know that if they get into agreement and they get into their teams again, they're never going to see those minutes. But all of a sudden, they're the best player on the team with replacement players from the KHL and the AHL. I don't think it's feasible, though. Because what are they going to do with the superstars? The superstars aren't going to cross. I'll tell you that much. They're still getting paid.
I think it's time for the NHL to decertify and begin this process through the courts. I mean, I don't know why they didn't do it to begin with. The NBA did it. The NFL did it right away. And here the NHL are just still trying to negotiate.
Well,
I think it would further.
I wouldn't
the process.
call this negotiating. They took everything off the table.
Yeah.
That's not negotiating.
That's what they said last time, though.
Yeah, but then what happened? Then we waited another 2 months.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen though is NHL's going to take it off the table. They're going to meet. They're going to get close. They're going to agree on something else. And Fear's going to put it in his back pocket, send the papers the other way, say, okay, here's the deal. NHL's going to say no. Fear's going to say, oh, well, I got 300 make whole, and now I got unlimited contract lengths. So what else do we need? And it's just a cat and mouse game.
Do you honestly think it's going to end? Like the lockout?
As every day goes by, I'm less optimistic.
Well, they already can't. Today, they announced they canceled games throughout December 30th.
Yep.
So
that really leaves January. I mean,
if they don't make a deal in January,
it's done because
season's over.
You can't expect to make a deal in February, start it in February when winter's about to end, and have go middle of February, March, April, May. Just for example, and start the playoffs in May, have the Stanley Cup at the end of
Ideal
June,
season,
July.
50 to 45 game season. Anything
Bettman said he can't see a season fewer than 48 games, so the clock's ticking. You need to get a deal done.
So he wouldn't give a deadline. Is that a self-imposed deadline, almost like a pseudo-deadline, you think? 48 games? If you do the math, you could really see what if going to the latest possible time in April, you could formulate what 48 games is.
Well, you would have all of February, February, March, and April, right? So you'd have those 3 months. You would probably go 15 games, around 15 games a month, so every other night, which you're cramming it in. But that's their fault if that happens. I mean, they could have agreed to a deal a couple months ago. If they agreed to a deal in November, they would have plenty of time. But
I don't think there's going to be a season. And I'm very curious as to how the draft's going to go, because there's some big names in this draft. And
we went through that last week. Toronto would have a good chance. The question is, being a Leaf fan, would you rather see no season and have a greater chance at Nathan McKinnon, or would you rather have hockey?
At this point, it's a win-win for the Leafs. No, it is.
It is, because they start off always 4-0.
Well,
so you start off 4-0. You're
halfway
of the season. Yeah, you're halfway to the playoffs.
So no, I mean, think about it. If they have a 48, 45 game season, and the Leafs play well for the first 20 or the first 15, that's half the season. They're gonna make the playoffs. And wouldn't it be so awful if coming out of a lockout, not like last time, because it didn't happen last time, but coming out of a lockout, and it's been 8 years, about 8 years since they've been in the playoffs, and the only way they get into the playoffs is by winning 20 games. That is typical Toronto fashion. I don't know. Same, like, we're about to get to the Raptors, and oh my, like, no, so we're gonna get to the MLB first, but along with the Raptors being so bad, this is, I mean, the Leafs, of course, like, oh, I thought the Raptors were gonna make the playoffs last year. If they won enough coming out of the lockout, yeah, I thought if they won enough games, it was a shortened season. Why not? Now, if the NHL comes back and there's only 45 games, woohoo to Leaf fans. That's all I gotta say. But I love what's happening in the MLB, and especially particularly in the American League.
Well, Yunel Escobar makes his return to the AL East. He's in Tampa.
And his team changed a little.
Oh, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Tampa traded 2 of their best 4 pitchers, probably. They traded James Shields and Wade Davis to Kansas City for Will Myers and prospects. Will Myers is the top-ranked prospect, or he was in the Kansas City organization. Casey looks serious about putting pitching together. They traded for Irvin Santana, James Shields. They got Jeremy Guthrie, Bruce Chen, and now Wade Davis. For Blue Jay fans, I think this is good. They get what Tampa's been known for has been their strong pitching. Their young
and
pitching.
They ship out,
But Tampa does this.
One of the Jays killers.
Yeah, no, they, especially at Tropicana, they always have the Jays number. I think the Jays have lost 12 or 13 straight series in Tropicana.
Biggest trade in Rays franchise history.
You think?
Yes.
They've done some deals in the past, but like nothing. It's where they brought in
like the top prospect for last year, right?
Yeah, no. Will Myers, he's supposed to be the next big thing. Whether it's Bryce Harper, who knows? But
some are saying that
they needed to replace B.J. Upton though.
In the next couple of years, some are saying in the next couple of years they're going to have the best outfield.
I still believe that Tampa Bay will be a good team this year. They still have
they're going to be a good team.
Jeremy Hellickson.
Oh god, as a Jays fan, Price, he just grinds my gears. I don't like him.
He's good.
I don't like him. No, I know he's really good, and that's why you don't like him. And that's why the fact that Shields is gone, at least from a American League East standpoint, is good. Like,
well, to an American League profit or positive, you could say, is Zach Greinke leaving LA to go to LA.
Yeah,
but he left the LA of the AL to go to the LA of the NL. He left the Angels for the Dodgers, and that's another good thing for the Jays. Anytime pitchers, hitters, B.J. Upton went to Atlanta. Anytime
one less pitcher,
yeah,
two less pitchers right now.
One less guy you got to deal with.
That you really got to deal with in the American League, because the American League is tough for pitchers. Well, at least it's not. It was tough before. I don't know how you would judge that now, but
Zach Greinke signs 6-year, $147 million.
How many?
Richest.
How much is that a year?
24.5.
Oh my God! Just compare it to other sports.
It's a little ridiculous, though. I mean,
it is
considering
ridiculous.
I think the Florida Marlins now have gashed their entire payroll. Houston Astros are on the hook for like $10 million in salary right now. And here's Zach Greinke making more than the entire team. It's ridiculous, but as long as he's gone, is he worth the money?
Greinke?
Yeah.
I
don't think anybody's worth $24 million.
I don't know. I don't think he is.
The guy's gonna have
That's
to.
That's a lot of money.
Ridiculous.
Too much. Like, can I even say $20 million is a decent amount? Oh God, anyone being paid $20 million, I know he's getting paid more, but
makes Brandon Morrow look like a steal. He makes 7.
A steal. He's more than a steal.
Yeah. I mean, would you rather have 3 Brandon Morrows or 1 Zach Greinke?
3
Brandon Morrows, exactly.
Of course. And for a cheaper price, all 3 together, which is funny. And quickly, we're gonna get to Raptors, and Lakers and Raptors. We're gonna talk about both. NBA.
They're both connected, right?
They're both connected. So the Lakers, They're not doing so hot right now.
Lakers are 9-12, out of a playoff spot.
No one would have said this in the summer.
They were my pick for the NBA championship. I mean, I think they got the best starting five in the league, at least on paper, it looks like. Steve Nash, former MVP.
Who's injured?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Kobe Bryant's leading the league in points right now.
There's been times where Kobe Bryant's led the league in points, and it hasn't helped the team at all.
I know, because he can't do it himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the whole thing about bringing in Dwight Howard and bringing in Steve Nash, is that he's not going to be doing it himself. Other players are going to be getting points. Now that
you're absolutely right,
Steve Nash is injured, and like they're not
cohesively
they got
Chris
anymore.
Duhon running the point. It's like when Kobe Bryant was by himself 5-6 years ago, and they had Smush Parker running the point. Who's Smush Parker?
I love that name.